Well, I'm not real good at these little things with these uh, video cams and all that. But I do know a few things. Here's the point: is I'm nearly 70 years old, and I have seen a lot of stuff in my life, a lot of stuff, and been involved in a lot of things. And one of the things that I have intensely gotten to despise, not just dislike or been upset about, but flat out despise, and that is the relentless, ruthless, despicable dishonesty of my generation. They're liars. The sons of bitches are liars beyond words. I'll give you two examples. Because the point of all of this is you have to vote, and you have to get rid of all of them. You got to get rid of all of them because they have spent their entire lives looking for a way to fuck you. They're not looking out for your interests. They're like the sincere guy, the sincere liner, the guy with the line, and he's all sincere. Oh yes, I care about you, care about you, care about you, care about you. And all he is a wolf in sheep's clothing because he's like every other guy. He just wants to get in your pants. And my generation, they started that trolling the White House kind of routine, but none of it. There's no innocent ones. No innocent ones. This last guy, he's comes from left field. $1 billion was spent for a $400,000 a year job. Now figure that out. They're all liars. And we didn't start out that way. The whole deal with our generation was supposed to be, we're going to change things. We're concerned about corporate oligarchies and the ugly American and all of that. Well, that went out the window. That went out the window when they started making us rich. Not all of us, but I'm okay. And I really don't care if you pay any attention to me. I don't care if you vote. I don't care if you bury yourself in a mountain of dog doo. I'm okay. But in a way, I do care. Because these sons of bitches are liars. So I'll give you two examples. Because you don't hear this. You don't hear this from the horseshit media that you get. I mean, I don't agree with all of Rush Limbaugh's stuff. Some of it I agree with. But the one thing I agree with is the drive-by media. All they are is shills. They're just shills. They just, NPR. They raise the eyebrow. Oh. Yes, we shall consider this common event of the day with a little more depth. My ass. You got all these Nobel Prize winners, right? We got this big, gigantic economic debacle. In 2003 or 2004, my mother, who lived through the German catastrophe. I was born in a refugee camp in Germany right after the war. She told all of us kids, we're all in our 60s, she told us don't buy anything. Don't do this, don't do that, because America reminds her of Germany during the Weimar Republic before Hitler came into power. Because it was all horse manure. Well, sure enough, it ended up being horse manure. Hasn't changed, still horse manure. lot of people didn't like it when I said that. But I didn't get screwed. Neither did my sister or my brother. We paid attention to Mom. And so when everything collapsed, people got foreclosed on, left, right, up, down, we didn't get affected. We're okay. My mother's not a Nobel Prize winner in economics. How is it that she knew? And Bernanke, who just wrote an article in Foreign Affairs, and he says, well, I just misunderstood these assholes. Well, he didn't say that. These assholes in the banks and the Wall Streets, I didn't really think that they would, screw themselves. Well, they didn't screw themselves. They screwed you. They stuck it to you. You think this stuff is all over with? You're in for a big, big surprise. So we'll go a little step further with this. When the bankers got all that money from Obama, and the Tea Party guys, where is the truth of all of those foreclosures? Foreclosures went and gone. Something like 10, 15, 20 million families in the United States lost their homes? Who got the houses? You see the shill factor telling you who got rich and who got poor? They certainly don't tell you, well, the bankers, they got fined, and they have to win billions of dollars. They had to pay penalties. Did any bankers go to jail? And that doesn't even cover it. This is the deal. This is the deal that you got to pay attention to. Pay close attention to what I say to you now. The bankers, when they did the foreclosure, so we'll just put all the other stuff aside. Let's just take this thing. The bankers, when they did the bogus foreclosures, they got a lawyer to pony up some bogus legal paperwork. Go to a judge. Go to his buddy down at the courthouse. And the judge stamped the piece of paper. So yeah, go on, take this poor slob's house. Or maybe he didn't even say poor slob. Maybe he just said, take this slob's house. Go ahead. What the hell? I don't care. Here, boom. The banker getting the lawyer to pony up the bogus documents was committing a crime. The lawyer who ponied up the documents was committing a crime. But the worst thing yet is this. The judge knew damn well what he was signing was fraudulent and false. And he stamped it anyway, and he was committing a crime. The cop who struts around with his bandoliers and his gun and his Kevlar over his head and on his legs and around his nuts. There is not a community in the entire continent where the cop does not know who the criminals are. They're right there across the street from the jailhouse, in the courthouse, still holding forth, not having to answer for a single one of their crimes. And the prosecutor in his office next to the cop, he knows too. They talk about corruption in other countries? Huh?
Is it dark? It's okay. It's still recording.
It's still recording?
Yes.
But I can't see
I
myself.
know, that's fine.
Ah!
Don't touch anything, just move the mouse a little.
Move the
Don't
mouse.
press it, just
How do I
put
do
your
it?
finger on it. Move it.
Ah! You're probably laughing at what's going on here. So that's the deal with the legal structure. The legal structure, with all of this stuff, is corrupt beyond all imagination, because we're not talking about a couple of bucks here, 2,000 there. We're not even talking about a couple of million. We're talking about, everything is said and done, $13 trillion. That's what they estimate this whole thing is. And that's assuming they're ever going to get the derivatives unwound. The story is that after 2000, something 60% of what has been sold after 2000, 60 to 70%, you can't find the original document. You cannot verify that you own anything. Who owns it? Some Arab banker? Some Chinese merchant? Who owns it? You don't have a friggin' clue. Neither do the banks. And that's the other thing. Oh, they got penalized. They got penalized. Billions and billions of dollars. And in the meantime, who pays? You think the bank's gonna pay? What, do you got your head up your butt? The bank's not gonna pay. You pay. You pay. You got screwed. You got shuffled, you got chopped, you got diced, and now you're going to pay. You will pay. And the politicians are responsible because they put those judges in place. The lawyers in the banks, the lawyers in the court, the lawyers in the prosecutor's office, and the lawyers in just, it's incredible. It's just friggin' incredible. Now, that's not all. Let's take this NSA deal. You watched, some of you, maybe all of you, maybe some of you, maybe none of you, you watch these politicians, one after the other, get up in front of TV as each one of these revelations were coming along and say, oh, no, we didn't do that. No. Oh, well, yeah. We got to be safe. We got to be safe. They call it an oversight committee, not an overlook committee. When these men take office, they take an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States, not find ways of getting around it, not finding excuses to shred it and piece it to shreds, not to crap on it and dump it in the toilet and, oh, well, you know, it's written for 200 years ago and things have changed. Yeah, things have changed, huh? Now that we're finding out about it, we're finding court here, there, and everywhere decide, well, this is really unconstitutional. Well, the congressmen who were responsible to oversee the execution of these programs, where were they? Oh, they were overlooking these things. Oh, their oath? Holy oath? What's an oath? Uphold the Constitution? Where's the cop that says, when he takes his oath, I'm going to uphold the Constitution? Oh, yeah? Well, then what are you doing working for criminals? All of you. Because you know who the criminals are. Oh, sorry. really frosted my balls, particularly that head of the Oversight Committee, because he's a traitor. What he's done is treason. He hasn't helped the country at all. How does he help the country? How does he help the country? By making us fools. By turning every one of the citizens of this land into Chumpville. And then the lies are just extraordinary. They say, well, we don't look at all your conversations. No, they have a cyber personality looking at all your conversations. So, the long and the short of it is this. You have to vote, kiddies. You have to start with this election. And you have to get rid of these bastards that have sold you down the river, that have sold your souls to the Chinese, that have sold your souls to the Vietnamese, that have sold your souls out the river so that their rich buddies can just laugh and laugh and laugh because you have become such chumps. My generation had the opportunity to truly change things. I mean, they're the CEOs, they're the bosses, they're the managers. And what did they do? It's sort of like pictures of Dorian Gray. They sold their souls, and they sold you out in the process. You got to get rid of them. You got to get rid of that structure that now is like a big slab, a big granite slab on top of your butt, driving you deeper and deeper into the ground. You got to vote, because there's no other resolution to this. Waco, Texas was a warning. Hunger Games is an odd little warning. The way they mucked up the Middle East, getting them to kill each other by the hundreds and thousands. That's a cute little Brit-American game. Go stir the pot. See how much trouble you can cause. Oh yeah, we're worried about them. My ass, you're worried about them. You knew the Sunnis and the Shiites will cut each other's throat in the millet. So you go over there. One day you're on the Shiite side. One day you're on the Sunni side. Oh yeah, we're all concerned. My butt. You think these people are stupid? They're not stupid. They're not stupid. It's like the Cadillac that only goes 150, 200,000 miles when the Crown Vic goes 500,000 miles. It's by design. And that's the deal. You got to stop them. You don't stop them. Your butt is in the ringer, and so is the butt of your kids. And you think you're going to have a good old age? Not near as good as mine. So you got to wake up, and you got to vote, and you got to get rid of these assholes. So if you want me to comment more, because there's lots to cover, because I'm a believer in strict truth. Strict truth. Not this little pablum crap that runs around, but strict truth. And you'll get it. Just as a parting shot, let me say one thing. There's a governor of Alaska, Walter Hickel. He wrote a book, I think 1990, 20 some odd years ago. The name of the book was Who Owns America? And he died in 2010. And he was trying to make the point that the people own America. And the corporations, they'll fight you tooth and nail and to the death to tell you, no, I ain't, not a chance. We're buying it all up every chance we get. Ha ha. So, that's the deal. So, I'm sorry if you don't like my message, but I told you why I did this. I did this because you need to save your ass. And you don't vote, you're going to have no ass to save. See ya. Till next time. Ha ha!
You gotta move the mouse and click done.
Click stop.
Yeah.